it's extremely important to have the regional media work with us on this, because you know that there is almost a 100% blackout in the mainstream media in Malaysia. Now, despite that, the internet is running riot with the story. The internet has been really publishing this story like as if this would be the main electoral issue. And you know that Malaysia is going to be having its general elections very soon. So there is a real disconnect, a real disjointed effect when you read the mainstream media and when you read the internet. So we hope that the regional media will cooperate, will see this as very important, because it does very much involve our Prime Minister. It does very much involve huge amounts of taxpayers' money. And we're talking about money that runs into billions of ringgit, into millions of euro, that have gone unaccounted for and that have actually been transferred as commissions, which are now deemed illegal once France had signed the OECD convention back in 2002. Okay, the first of the documents that I'd like to just summarize and highlight is that as part of the procedures involved in the preliminary investigation, the French prosecutors had raided the office of the shipbuilding company and had obtained several very core documents, including the contract between the Malaysian government and DCNS, bank invoices, bank vaults, scrutinizing the accounts of the different companies. And this is how they had actually arrived at some of the information. And there was also several confidential reports that were obtained, mainly consolidated and mainly written for the French government. And one of the reports was obtained by the public prosecutors on the 2nd of June 1999 with relations to how the procurement process and the negotiations would take place. And in a document that was tagged Malaysia, there was two companies that were highlighted. The first was Perimecca Sindrian Berhad, and the second Pera Sasi. Both of these are companies that were formed mainly to receive sweeteners and illegal commissions in relation to the negotiations that have taken place. And the report includes a note on retracing the background of how the negotiations actually took place. The note states that pursuant to the major defense contracts between France and Malaysia, there is a requirement that substantial transfer of money has to be channeled to individuals and or political organizations. And the note specifically states that apart from individuals, the ruling party UMNO, the ruling party of the majority component party of the ruling coalition called UMNO, United Malay National Organization, is the biggest beneficiary. Now, if we did this press conference in Malaysia, everybody would be going ooh and ah, because UMNO has been in power for the last 55 years. And the very fact that this confidential report has actually explicitly stated UMNO as a beneficiary of the monies that were involved speaks volumes of how much corruption there is, not just in the administration, but within the political parties that make up the ruling coalition. The note further mentions that there were two individuals, Muhammad Ibrahim Muhammad Noor and Abdul Razak Baginda, as points of reference. Now, who are these persons? Who are these personalities? One is linked to former Finance Minister Tun Daim Zainuddin, and the second is linked to Defense Minister and current Prime Minister Muhammad Najib Razak. The note further explains that Muhammad Noor's influence began to decline when the Minister of Finance, Daim Zainuddin, was booted out of the cabinet. And so they decided that it was most suitable to have Abdul Razak Baginda to become the main point of reference. And one of the very revealing factors is that the note stated, on the contrary, Razak Baginda maintained excellent ties with the Minister of Defense and Prime Minister. Furthermore, his wife is a close friend of the Minister of Defense wife, Rosmah Mansor. And if you follow Malaysian politics, you will know that the Prime Minister's wife actually wields considerable influence over him, and she has also been a target of many critics for lavishly spending taxpayers' money on fashion handbags and jewelry and so on. So it became very interesting to note that the relationship between the two wives had also led to the appointment of Baginda as a point contact. And Parasasi is further linked to Baginda, in which the directors are Abdul Razak Baginda and his father, and Peri Mecca, the directors are Abdul Razak Baginda and his wife. So it is an all-in-the-family setup, a crony empire that was built around the procurement of the two submarines from France. Now that is document 97.